YouTubers, once again, welcome to the Thank you for your contribution to this channel, and remember, this is the only channel that deals on how you can design a free energy generator in your house. The primary purpose of this channel is to make sure that every individual remove electric bill from their budget, and that is what we are aimed to do. And by so doing, you should be able to design your own free generator that will enable you to run 24 hours light in your house without stress. Today I'm going to discuss on how you can set up a 5,000 watts free energy generator. I decided to break it down to 5,000 watts because many people ask the company of the cost of building materials, buying the materials for the building, and because the cost is a little bit high in terms of materials, they are having it difficult for them to set up the system. While others have been able to set up the system, some other people are having difficulty for them to set up this invention, and that is why I'm trying to break down this invention, this training to people as a lowered minimum, BRS minimum. Today I'm going to show you how you can set up a 5,000 watts free generator with a less stress, with a less cost, and how to do this. Now, the first things you need to know, as always earlier discussed in our discussion, is you must have these 4 basic materials. These 4 basic materials is very important as long as free energy design is concerned. You must be able to at least acquire them. First, you must have a generator. The generator is the first thing you need, and this is the generator which is marked as number 1. The generator. What does the generator do? The generator is the producer, is the one that produces the light which you need in your house. The capacity of your generator determines the capacity of the light you're going to have. For instance, I'm discussing about 5,000 watts electricity system, which is 5 kilowatts. What the capacity we're talking about now, for instance, of the generator now is assume 5,000. So the generator capacity is 5,000. Therefore, the light I'm going to have, my consumption rate should not be above the generator rate. Many a time people have issue of overload because the generator capacity is less than the load they have. If I have AC, I have refrigerator, I have other electrical appliances, and I have 5,000 watts generator, I must make sure that those loads are not more than what the generator can carry. Otherwise, it will be classified as overload. For you to have a generation system, one, you must have a power reserve on generator. For instance, if my generator is 5,000 watts, I should be able to keep at least 1,000 watts as a reserve. Reserve is for other purpose, or like power electric motor, and that is where that takes us to the next stage of what we call the electric motor. What is the electric motor now? Which is the stage 2 here. This is marked here as 2, and this is here the electric motor. You know, in normal fuel generator, we have 2 sections. We have the generator section and we have the mechanical section. The generator section, the electrical section, which is the generator aspect, is the area which the light is being produced. Then the mechanical sector is the area which the fuel is being put in the normal fuel generator. But in the case of fuel generator, we also have 2 sections. The 2 sections now is the generator area and the electric motor area. The electric motor replaces the place of the mechanical section in the generator system, and this is how it is now. This is the electric motor now. This electric motor is the engine room, is the brain behind every free energy system. The electric motor is the engine room, is the powering system, is the driver that runs the generator. Without the electric motor, the generator cannot generate light, because it is the electric motor that that turn the generator, which is this one here, to enable it brings out the light which you will need in your house or wherever you are. So the electric motor is the engine room. So if you have the generator, you must also have the electric motor. The electric motor now will be the engine. It will serve as the engine to the whole system, because it is the electric motor that will runs the generator, which it is this one. It's the electric motor. So the remote motor is play a better role. Don't forget that the electric motor plays a very, very vital role, because without it there will be no free generator. I hope you get that. Then the next point now is the 3 point, which is the flywheel, or you can call it the joint. In some engine we call it the flywheel, but another engine we call it the joint. But whatever it is, you can also call it the bed, but all means the same. What it means is that in between the generator and the electric motor, there must be a bridge. The bridge is the one that links the motor to the generator, and it's that the bridge we call the flywheel. Sometime I've discussed about flywheel in my previous video. I talk about flywheel in a very long detail, and I've told you that the flywheel is the one that stores the kinetic energy that the system needs to be able to, when you switch over from the external power supply to internal power supply, the gap between the two of them is the electric motor that stores the energy that is needed. Now, many of us have issue on this area. Some ask questions on how do I switch over. What is the, sometimes if I switch over, I have a breakdown in supply. Don't worry, I know I've received such question many occasions. I'm going to make a very important video on how you can solve that issue. In the next subsequent video, you are going to see how you can bridge the gap between these two systems, because many have initial complaint. Let's say whenever they want to turn over from the supply of the generator to the internal generation system, there will be a breakdown that will go for completely down or lower. That area has been tackled. I'm going to discuss that. I'm going to make a video on that, but don't forget, we are still discussing the system, and there will always be provision for innovation and for improvement. If there is any question, we look at the question, you look at the design, and we see the area of your issue, and then we study it and improve on it, and also bring out a very fantastic video to enable you learn. Remember, this is an educational video that train you and show you some methods you need to know about frame generator. Now, they talk about the flywheel here. This is a flywheel here, and this is the area where the system does the joint, where the joint is done. Then the next one you're going to see here is the 4, and the 4 here is the base. The base is the mounting, call it the mount, where the two engine will be mounted. Sometimes people use wood, some people use irons, whatever you want to use, all depend on the weight of what you are generating. If you are using if your motor is very big, it has a lot of weight, I always advise my subscriber to use iron, because the iron will able to enable it to stabilize. All you just need to do is to meet a iron welder. It will weld the process for you and do the construction for you, and it's very cheap rate for you to do it. So the iron will enable it to stabilize. But if you have a very hard wood that is very strong, you can also use the wood to construct the same process and you still have result. Because the most important is that the two systems, which is the generator and the electric motor, must be mounted in a very strong base, so that if the generator is running or the motor is running, there will be no breakdown of any issue, or there will be not something that cause harm to individual who is also nearby. So you must have a very strong base like this. Now let's go ahead and see some of the practical video that will guide you about the step on how you can design the system. First of all, you are going to see a base like this. This is the first thing you see here is a base. When you see the base, then you see other processes that are involved. Let's go ahead and see it now. you have the base, and then the next thing we have here, you mount the flywheel, which is this is the flywheel. Now you put in the flywheel, which is to tighten in so that it will be firm, because if the flywheel is both, you see that the flywheel will be very strong and it will help you. And you tighten the flywheel to be very firm. The reason why the tube system must be very firm, it will help you to keep the system stable, because if the flywheel is not firm, the tendency for the system to shift is always there. So tighten your flywheel very firm, because it will help you so much. That is the back section. This is to enable the bed to be tight. You know, when you plug these two systems, is to give you enable the bed, the joint bed to be able to stand. So if you did, that's very important, because this will help you so much, because many of you don't consider this area of joining area for the bed. You know, if you want to use the bed alongside the flywheel, it will also help you to put all this system. This is the generator. The generator is the word that does the production. You know, I've told you earlier that the generator is the one that generates the light. Without generator, there will be no light. So this is the generator. The position of the generator does not really matter. You can put it in this area here, or you can put it in this area, or it's still the same. Whatever you want to mount the generator does not matter, but the most important is you must be able to know the generator has the process of wear mount, so that it will not remove. And you always tighten it very strong. When the generator is blocked, you must tighten it very strong, and that is very important. That is why you see this place here, very important. This is the generator aspect. You must always put it very, very strong, so that it will not shift and the bell will also shift. This is the motor. This is the electric motor. The electric motor does the area of turning the engine room. I've told you. Now you can see the portion of the electric motor where it is mounted, and this is enable you to control with this process. You can put it here wherever the position of the electric motor you wish to put does not really matter. The position only matters on how you want to do your configuration. If you want to put it on the right, you want to put it on the left, you want to put it on the top, and wherever you want to put it, it does not really matter. But what matters is that it is well firm to generate the light you want. Don't forget to tighten it very firm. It's very important for you to tighten the process, to tighten the system very fine, because it will help you much